right now. He covers the Saints for the New Orleans Advocate. Hope you have had a wonderful summer, Luke. It is over now. What's up, my man?
Yeah, I'm just getting my body ready for like 6 straight months of 7-day work weeks.
What's the level of excitement among Saints fans going into this year? Because this is a little bit different season.
Yeah, I think there's an element of newness to this and really kind of mystery around this Saints team. I think a lot of people who have followed the team closely or like me cover the team, I think wouldn't be surprised if they're a team that contends for a division title, playoff seeding, and all that good stuff. But there's also a chance this doesn't go right for them. I think the Saints were very aggressive this offseason in putting a very, very good team together, what they believe will be a team that contends. But there's some variables and it's just some stuff we don't know. We got to see it play out. And I think that's making this kind of exciting. You just really don't know what you're going to get with this team right now.
There's some questions about when guys will be there or if they will be there. Let's start with Alvin Kamara. What do we know about his situation? What is the NFL going to do? When are we going to know something?
Well, we don't know anything right now, and we might not know anything for a while. I think, look, I'd be really, really surprised if he's not there, right? He was there for minicamp. He's been at everything he's supposed to be, everything mandatory this offseason. So if he's not there, it'd be a huge surprise. His court date right now is scheduled for early August, I think August 1st or maybe 2nd. And I don't know if he has to be there for that. But I would anticipate he's going to be there for training camp. And now it's just really a waiting game because the NFL is not going to do anything as far as discipline until the court case is like through the system and resolved. So if that's in August, then we should know something by the end of training camp. And there's always a chance that it drags on for a long time. And there's even a chance that we don't have any sort of solution by this season, and questions of suspension or league discipline get pushed to next year. There's just really no way of knowing until that thing gets kind of completed and through the whole legal system.
Is there a scenario that you can see if, I don't know that we'll see charges dismissed, but if it's not awful, that the NFL doesn't even level a punishment, or is this a high-profile enough case that they're going to do something?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, technically speaking, there could be a chance, right? But I don't think it's a very big chance. I think one way or another, he's very likely looking at a suspension, probably multiple games. Even if this thing gets settled out of court, which I think historically that happens in Vegas. A lot of times it doesn't get settled. Maybe if this happened in Atlanta or something like that, then it already had a resolution. I don't know if that's necessarily the case with Las Vegas. They kind of tend to make an example out of celebrities out there. So we'll really just have to see. I mean, we are in full-on waiting mode for that.
What do we know about Michael Thomas? Is he healthy? Is he going to be healthy? I know you got the PUP list news for both Thomas and Davenport a few days ago. What does that mean for people that are not 100% up to date on the physically unable to perform list rules?
Okay, so he's on the active physically unable to perform list. There's two designations for that. An active means that he can come off it at any time during training camp. Same thing with Marcus Davenport. So if he's not ready to go on day one of practice, I mean, they could take him off the PUP list for day 2, and he could be out there practicing. Okay. And I think the idea is that at some point during training camp, he's going to be back out there. I think they're preparing for this season as if Michael Thomas is going to be out there in week 1. I think it's a little bit murkier with Marcus Davenport just because you just know the guy had his finger partially amputated this offseason, his pinky finger. And yeah, I think nobody really knows what like the time frame is for that, for not only being able to play, but getting himself back into shape, because he hasn't really been able to do much this offseason to get himself into playing shape. So, I think with Michael Thomas, at some point I'm expecting him back. Maybe even fairly soon. He's been posting those workout videos of himself. He looks like he's moving around right. I don't recall him doing that stuff last year. So, I think not nearly as concerned with him as I am with Davenport.
What's the reason, Luke, for those guys being designated that way? Is it something that's required by the NFL, or does that open up another roster spot for training camp, or training camp spot that you couldn't use if you had them active?
No, they still count against the 90-man roster until they go on the physically unable to perform reserve list. So, really, it's just that they while they're on the list, they can't practice. They can do everything else. They can be in the weight room, they can be in team meetings and all that stuff. They're just not able to practice. And that, I think there's probably some contractual stuff with that and everything, but that's all it is. So they're still counting against a 90-man roster. Okay. They just cannot actually physically participate in practice at the moment.
Visiting with Luke Johnson, covers the Saints for the New Orleans Advocate, just a few days away from the start of camp. What do you expect from healthy Jameis?
Well, that's another one of those big questions, right, that this whole season's kind of hinging upon. Mm-hmm. Because I think we saw last year that, he can operate within the parameters of the offense, whatever they're asking him to do. He can take care of the football, and, he can be efficient in spots. I think they still want to get more out of him in terms of, the efficiency stuff. Obviously the completion percentage, you want that to be a little bit higher. I don't think they want him to, they'd love it if he was out there completing 75% of his passes like Drew Brees, but I don't think they're expecting him to do that because he's a different type of player. But I think there's an opportunity for him to maybe connect on a few more of those high percentage throws, and kind of get the offense in a rhythm. And you can see it in the numbers when you're looking at kind of the breakdown of his throws last year. Everything that was quick and in rhythm. When he was getting rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds or less, his passer rating went through the roof. His completion percentage was way up. He was making fewer mistakes, and when he held onto the ball longer, those numbers went way down. We're talking like a 40-point difference in passer rating.
Oh wow!
So I think having had a chance to play last year, adding some new weapons around him, and maybe they use this as an opportunity to kind of ease off on the governor and let him go out and swing it a little bit. And I'm really excited to see what that looks like. Does that look like just an enhanced version of what we saw last year? Does that lead to more turnovers? More aggressive Jameis to more turnovers? I don't know. And when you consider that it's going to be Pete Carmichael calling the plays, there's some elements to this that are just completely unknown right now, and we won't really start to get an answer until the season's a couple of weeks old. But I think there's an opportunity for him, just considering the weapons they've stacked around him, and anticipating a healthier offensive line, that Jameis could have a really, really good season. And it's important to him because I think this year is the one where we really decide one way or another, is Jameis the guy for the future. He's only on a 2-year contract right now. They're not tied to him beyond 2024, so they're beyond 2023. So, it's important for him to have a good year. It's obviously important for the Saints. They have a lot invested in this particular team. So, I think it's in both parties' best interest for him to go out there and have a really, really good year.
And Saints fans want to see that as well. So we'll see how it goes. Next time we visit, Luke, I want to get into this Sean Payton stuff that has kind of seems to not be going away because of what his future plans might be, but I don't know that we've got time for that today. So thanks as always for your time. Great insight, and look forward to catching up soon.